Hello, hello.
Hi. We are here on time today. No problems.
11:01, technically 1 minute over, so you've got the perfectionists that'll complain. All right. What prompted this chat? Because we talked about marriage last week. What prompted this?
A comment we got, or a question really.
Right. Do you want to start off reading that, or do you want to just talk about roughly what they said?
We can read it. It was a short question.
Where was it
under
on this?
that one? Yeah.
The Q&A? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's bring it up. Which one was it?
By Melanico.
Ah, okay. All right. You want to read it out?
Paradoxical question. If you guys don't recommend marriage, then why are you married? Or is the reference a more case-by-case basis?
We kind of talked generally about marriage last week because
I think also, if I can clarify, because I can kind of understand why you would ask that question, but I think maybe we need to clarify what we mean by the word recommend. Like when we say we don't recommend marriage, that doesn't mean we think that people should not get married. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying that we personally wouldn't recommend it to anyone, just because I think, because it's such a big risk attached to it, that is kind of almost silly to recommend it to someone. So if I knew a couple and they wanted to get married, then I would just be happy for them and I would say congratulations and support them and everything. But if someone were to ask me, should I get married? Then I feel like I wouldn't just say, oh yeah, you should totally do that, just because I know how many people struggle with marriage and not everyone's honest and there's a high failure rate. So that's kind of what we mean by, it's not that we're against marriage or anything, and we would support it if people wanted to get married, obviously because we're married. But it doesn't necessarily mean that in a one-on-one conversation with someone that we would say, yes, you should get married. Like that recommending part, that's probably not something we would do.
yeah, I agree. I think today it's very peculiar. People have black and white thinking much more than they did in past generations, because this is a very personal question. Should I get married? And those are very personal things that you want to do, goals or things that drive you. They're not, should I cross the street and look both ways before I cross the street? That's, yes, you should. That's an objective sense, like advisable thing to do. Like if you don't do it, you're a bit strange. You're keeping your you're putting your life in your hands and you're being very, very risky. But when someone says, well, you're married, because I've had this once or twice from people in my life who found out. And when I've mentioned that I'm happily married, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend marriage to people, especially as you said today with the environment, I've had one or two people say, why wouldn't you? You're happy and you're married. Why wouldn't you recommend this? It's like, well, everything has to align, both what you want in the moment, you have to want it with this particular person. It's akin to me saying, would I recommend my car for everyone? Because that's what you're saying. Would you recommend this marriage or my car for everyone? Of course not everyone. It needs to be specifically for a specific person in the context of who they are. They want the same things. They see the same things as you. You're almost mirrors to each other. And then you would both say, yeah, I think it's a good idea. But at the end of the day, it's still up to you. I might recommend it because you're exactly like me. But at the end of the day, whether you do it or not, it's up to you.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like what you just said, I'm trying to remember what you said.
About the car?
Like, no, not about the car, but about recommending marriage. I think it's, when we say that, people take it differently than how we mean it. Because, like, we're married, why wouldn't you recommend marriage? Like, we're not saying, I lost my train of thought. I wanted to say something earlier. It's not like we're not recommending marriage because I lost it.
No, it's okay. It'll come back.
Yeah.
But for me, it's very simple. It's a sensible person can appreciate other lifestyles, ways of life, and they can make you happy. But then if you think of yourself, is that really me? Oh, no, I wouldn't do it. So if you, say, go to another country, a foreign country, and you have a great time on holiday, and they say, oh, you should live here. It's like, oh, hang on a minute, this isn't me. Like, you have to put yourself in the context of the thing. So no one can recommend you do that. You have to really believe that that is for you. It needs to be in the context of who you are and what you want to. And that's the hard thing to communicate to people. It's not a black and white. This is a good thing to do for everyone. This is a bad thing to do for everyone. No.
No, I feel like it's a more direct thing that I'm trying to put into words, but my brain's not working with me for some reason. I'm going to try again. I think it's because when we say we're married, but we don't recommend marriage, people, Luke, people take that as we don't recommend marriage because our marriage sucks, because it's hard work. Because it's, I think that's the misunderstanding, that people think when we say we're married but we don't recommend it, that people think we mean because marriage is hard work and it's bad and our marriage sucks and everything. That's not what we mean. What we mean is we're married because I know I'm a good person and a normal person, and he knows he is, and we know that of each other as well. And so for us, marriage works. But we also know that not everyone is like that in the world. People screw each other over. And nowadays, marriage can be just very dangerous, especially for men. So that's why we don't recommend it. That's, I think, is like the main thing that we are trying to say. Like, yes, we got married because for us, we know that we're good people and it works for us. But we wouldn't necessarily recommend it because it won't work for everyone, because not everyone is a good person. That's basically what we're trying to say. And there's just a very big risk with it not working out and people getting screwed over. And so that's why we don't necessarily recommend it or advise people to get married if we have a conversation with them one-on-one, you know, but it doesn't mean that we don't support it. So that's kind of what I was trying to say, but my brain was kind of stuck.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever really hated on marriage, although some people might think I did when they, before they referenced my cell marriage video to me. Remember that one? They kept referencing that up when I announced I got married, and they took it as I really was against marriage or something, And for me, it was in a different context. I just didn't see the point and stopped bugging me to get married. If it's so good, tell me why it's so good. And I just didn't, it wasn't for me. And then you change, not that all of a sudden I want to get married before I met you and then I was looking for a wife. No, it's in context to where you are and what happens to you, and you change in real time given the person you meet, or you might move house and all of a sudden things you wouldn't do, you move countries, you move house, and all of a sudden you start eating different foods and exercising. There's things you never did and you thought were silly, but then in the context of where your life is, you change. But then you can't say, well, I recommend this, because the 10-year prior version of me you couldn't recommend it to that person. So depending where you are, it is subjective. It's a very subjective thing. And that's why people are trying to say, well, convince me, it's so stupid. Look at the statistics. People get divorced. How can you talk positively about marriage? You're recommending it. You're putting men in danger, human. It's kind of like, I'm not recommending it. I'm just giving you my experience. And a lot of people can't trust their own experience, I've found these days. They don't know what subjective is. They don't trust subjective. All they trust is objective. Okay, divorce rates are going up, marriages are going down, men and women are terrible. Objectively, I believe I don't want to get married. Like, it's like, okay, is it black and white 100% failure rate, or is it you just believe the morals outside and you don't even know what you want? I'm confusing it a little bit here, but I'm basically saying that I'm objective enough to realize how much more risky it is out there, especially in the West. And so for that reason, I wouldn't recommend it. If it was really safe, and if it was just like, just breaking up, we're no longer together, it's kind of like dating casually, and it's not a big deal, it doesn't impact you psychologically, financially, structurally, yeah, I would recommend you give it a try if you want to again. Again, I'm not pushing you, but the word recommendation doesn't mean a rule, and I wouldn't even recommend it. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
What do people think if you're here during the stream? Yeah, these kind of things require a discussion within yourself and between people. You can't just go, oh, well, everyone agrees that's good or that's bad, and so that's what I'll recommend myself to do without thinking. You have to think and really go after what you don't want or do want. You have to avoid what you don't want and go after what you do want. Because I was saying yesterday when we went for a walk, I believed before, I never want to get married. I don't see the point. And when I met you, I wanted to. I can't just ignore an instinct and a feeling that feels so different and right with you. And you never pushed me. You never mentioned wanting to get married, and that was a condition or a blackmail kind of ultimatum. And I was completely free to be myself with you. And I just came to the decision that I wanted to ask you. And that was it. And everyone wants some sort of justification, like convince me that it's a good idea, because part of me is open to, but you need to convince me, recommend it to me, really tell me it's a good idea. It's kind of like you're after a parent to take care of you with a decision. It's like, no, you have to either do it or not. And unfortunately, marriage is more dangerous in the West for men, so I wouldn't recommend it. But if you really want to, you're religious, you want to have kids, things like that, I wouldn't recommend it, but I would recommend really taking your time and paying attention. But you have to actually want it. And I would say, if you're someone who really knows what you want and you want marriage, then I would say, yeah, good luck, go for it. I don't see a problem. But again, I can't recommend things for other people.
Yeah.
Anything. Like I couldn't even recommend someone, I could recommend someone eat like a chocolate donut. Because what's the harm? You take a bite and you go, I don't like it. It's 1 second.
Yeah. Also, I don't know why people get so upset, even if we would recommend marriage. I don't know, because everyone has the freedom to do what they want to do. Like, we're just talking about a topic. Like, people get so offended nowadays.
Well, look, there's a lot of, I think online now, there's a couple of generations that have grown up to think in the herd of online. They don't have their own individual thoughts.
Yeah.
So they go with the consensus much more. And so if your group of friends online all believe one thing, that's what you believe too. Whereas in real life, you can be your own person. You've got your own design, fashion sense. You do your hair your way. You like your favorite color. You're actually an individual person, and you feel proud to be different to your friend, or, there's an individuality. But online, it's like groups of people. And if you stand out, everyone attacks you in the comment section. Everyone trolls you. So it's good to all have a belief. We believe this is good. We believe this is bad. We don't recommend this. We do recommend this. But as an individual, you have to, on your own, decide those things. Are we popping on Discord after this?
I don't think so.
We've got some stuff to do after this as well.
It's really silly. Like, this is how easily I get thrown off sometimes. Like, I think because in the beginning I couldn't, like, get my brain, say what I wanted to say. And now it's like, it's annoying me a little bit. And I'm a little thrown off. Like, that's how easily I get thrown off.
I know.
It's annoying. I have to, yeah.
Melee says, guys, you are both very grounded. That's a big difference. Well, you're not very grounded at the moment.
Well, yeah, but we are. I know that I am very down to earth. So
Yeah, again, I find it odd when I wouldn't recommend cameras or drawing or very particular things that I love in my life and I know I love and they're for me and I selfishly hold them and I wake up for them and they give me joy in my life, right? I love them and I can talk about them, and for myself, I recommend them and I do. There's not even a recommendation. I do it and I don't care and I love doing it. But for me to tell you, yeah, you need to embrace the things I embrace. It's like, I can't recommend that. Hang on first. If you want my advice, I'll give you some advice and I'll listen to you. But I'm not going to like recommend as though I'm God. Like I know what's best for you. To me, it's not just arrogant, but irrational. How am I supposed to recommend something for someone else and I don't know what's in their head? I don't know what they feel, where they are in life and what they desire above everything else. How am I supposed to tell them, no, whatever you feel, forget about that. This is what I recommend.
no,
you
but
do.
it's not something that you should recommend marriage because it has such a high failure rate.
It's a big thing too.
Yeah, but if it was about something else that had like a very small failing rate, then you could recommend it. But with this, I feel like it's kind of dumb if you recommend it.
You know, also it's the responsibility of something big. If I can recommend trying a bag of chips of a certain flavor and I really like it and I recommend just try it because it's 1 second of you trying it, liking it or not liking it, and life moves on. But if you recommend marriage in that same way, oh, come on, try it, you get married, there's no going back.
You're exploding with analogies today.
Yes. But you know, there's a cliche, especially with women, they're pressured to have kids and married, right? Their mothers and their tradition is like get married to the son too, but for women especially, get married, do this, do that, and then they do all the things, and then they've got a screaming kid they don't like. Marriage was nothing like what they mentioned. They go, Mum, what do I do? Well, you're an adult, take care of it. It's like, well, I listened to you. You recommended it, not just recommended, pushed and shamed me into it, which is worse. And now, oh well. It's on you. You take care of it. It's like, I did what you asked. Well, you're an idiot. You're an adult. Why did you take my...
Yeah, but that's the danger sometimes of family and traditions and stuff. Like, people need to think for themselves and be a bit more selfish and think about what they actually want, not just do stuff because it's normal.
Yeah, marriage is a big deal. It is.
Yeah.
You cannot... I think it's immoral, completely immoral, to recommend someone or force someone, but even say a step lower, recommend someone confidently that they should do something that you believe in. Like you're some sort of God. You just know it'll work out. And then if it doesn't for them, they're left with it for the rest of their life. Have a kid. Kids are wonderful. Oh, trust me. I know you don't want to have a kid. You'll change your mind later. Okay, what if I listen to you and I have a kid, I don't want it. Can I give it to you if I don't want it? Well, no, I'm not taking care. Oh, then shut up.
I feel like the older I get, the less I understand why people want kids. The more I see
I can understand
the
why
kids
people
of
want
today.
kids, but people telling you what you will want and love.
No, I understand it. On one hand, I will always understand it, like the bullet points of why people want kids. Like, I get that. But at the same time, I don't get it because I don't want it.
Yeah, but that's
You know what I mean?
subjective. Objectively.
Because I'm talking about me and
Yeah.
what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but you just said you don't understand why they want it. You can appreciate why they want it.
I understand it, but I don't understand it. Like, I understand why, but I also... It's an expression.
You can appreciate. You can understand or appreciate why others can objectively do want to have kids because that's the species has to survive and most people do want that. But you know why you don't want to have kids.
I should say it differently. I understand why people want kids, but I don't understand why they are not so put off by all the things that I am put off by. That's how I should say it.
Well, again, it's kind of like marriage and relationships. I looked at most people's relationships and even my own, and it's like, why do we do this? Why are people having relationships? And a lot of people, and now I have one, it's like, wow, this one's different.
Yeah, but with kids, it's always going to be the same.
But again, your kid, it's from you, it's shaped by you, it's more like you. So it's a very different feeling. It's hard to describe. Again, you can't recommend it. bottom line, people need to think for themselves and know what they want and who they are, and not look for recommendations or what is right and what is wrong and what I should do about big things in life. You can't recommend I don't think you should recommend big things that will be forever life-changing. The person can never go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, the odd concept is telling people how to live your life. Like I said, you can try it, but say, okay, I'll do this big thing you want me to do, but if it fails, can you pay for it?
No, just don't do it.
No, but say you do, like, oh, I have kids, or if I don't want the kids' mum, dad, whatever, can I give them to you? You can take care of them. Can I give them to the government? Can I, like, whoever's pushing me, all right, you keep nagging me and you keep shaming me, I'll do it. But if I don't like it, if it doesn't turn out to be the utopia that you tell me it's going to be, and I'm so stupid because I'm not doing it, all right, I'll do it. But if I still don't like it because I think I know myself, then you are going to take care of it. Can we agree? Sign on the dotted line.
I get what you mean, but with that mindset, you shouldn't have kids. If that's the way you're going into getting
Well, to me,
pregnant.
it's kind of like if it's the only way you can shut some people up, it's like, all right, I'll have kids. You're going to have another kid if I don't like
So you're going to have kids just to be petty?
Yeah, so they learn a lesson because they're going around telling everyone.
So you're using that poor child to teach someone a lesson?
Okay. Who's the mature one now? All right. Sometimes you just got to tell people to shut up, and sometimes they won't listen to reason.
You just need to think for yourself. Just do what you want to do and don't do what other people want you to do. That's dumb. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I feel like my parents have always been super supportive of anything I've wanted to do. However I would have ended up, they would have supported it, and that's good. Like, we've been able to make our own decisions, you know?
Boffin says, along with whatever religious significance marriage holds for the individual, marriage is also a social, cultural institution, which functions best when its significance is inculcated at a young age. Yes. It sort of, you have to see a lot of meaning in doing these big things. It's essentially, you can't recommend such important meaning to someone else. Like, it means a lot to me, I recommend it for you, even though it doesn't mean that much to you. It's silly.
I'm still thinking about his comment.
Whose?
Buffin.
Yeah, that's what I'm going off as well.
Yeah, but I'm still trying to understand what he means. Along with whatever religious significance marriage holds, it's also a social, cultural institution, which functions best when its significance... What's the last part? What does it mean?
Inculcated at a young age. It means it's when you're conditioned from a young age. Inculcated.
Ah, okay.
Inculcated's more like taught, mentored, like run through the steps and taught. So yeah, it's the significance of marriage means more for people, say, before, when it was more a social and cultural norm, and everyone believed in it and everyone did it the same way, and so it was more easy to recommend because everyone believed in it the same way. People were less individualistic about marriage. It was all about church, God, kids, so it was easier to recommend that. But today, you can't recommend it because it's not the same time.
Yeah, because the people are different.
And a lot of people aren't religious. And they don't live their lives religiously as well.
I feel like I'm so cranky today for some reason.
And I take a chill pill, will you? Have a coffee.
Yeah, I've got coffee here. I don't know. Whenever you use marriage and religion in one sentence, I just get annoyed.
Melee says, there is a Greek saying, take big gulps of food before saying big words. Perhaps it's like telling people, do this, do that, like you guys say, think for yourself. Well, you notice it with people where when they talk to you as though they know what you should do in life in a big way, to me it kind of says that they really don't think for themselves. They think in terms of what the rules are.
I am pretty chill normally. I don't know why. Sometimes I'm just like, maybe it's because I'm not doing my cheat day. No.
Yeah, with you, she's got a brain where if there's a picture that's slightly off, she'll be looking at it until she fixes it.
Yeah.
Like everything needs to be in order.
But you're right. I need to just chill.
Yeah, but in 10 minutes, you'll be fine.
No, it's just that one thing that was said about something about religion and marriage or something.
You got to ask yourself why you react so aggressively towards things. You know, why you have a knee-jerk reaction that what you want to fight straight away at a certain topic or concept, especially if you know you don't want to do it.
It's because it feels like religion is being pushed onto me. And I feel like we're married and it's got nothing to do with religion and we love each other and we have a good thing here. And then whenever someone says something like about marriage and religion, like...
And it doesn't apply to us.
Yeah, and then it just annoys me.
Yeah, but you have to objectively understand that religion is a religious construct that was designed for family and raising
No,
kids.
I get that, but it's and. You've got that, sure, and you've got this. It's not like that's like on the pedestal.
Yeah, well, they will look at us and go, well, yours is just like a weird abomination. Like you shouldn't, why would you even marry if you're not marrying the right way?
Yeah, see, that's retarded.
Yeah.
That's just stupid. Then you're just not recognizing that there are different people in the world that think different things.
I'd suggest to them, learn who you are, what you stand for first, principles and values first. Just because you want to get married doesn't mean you should or are ready for it. Yeah. Again, if you're not self-aware enough to know that this is a big freaking step, and if I just listen to everything mom, dad, society, women tell me to do, and I hate doing it, and there's never a good result. Say, for instance, relationships for guys. They always say yes to things. They do what the woman asks. They always go by the woman's script. You know, apologize to the woman, even if it's not your fault. Just all these rules like, hey, and you're doing everything the way you should be doing things in relationships, and you're never happy because you can never be you. You can never have a say. You can never enjoy the relationship the way you want. It's the same with this, with marriage. It's like at some point you have to go, hang on, what about what I want in marriage? Or if I don't want to get married, what about what I want in a relationship with a woman, or what I don't want? You need to speak up and really know where you stand on if you're always getting pressured for marriage, or if you're in a relationship and the woman's always pressuring you to do this or do that or be romantic. Like, you have to speak about it and know where you stand on it. Not just, all right, I'll do it, hope that makes them happy. All right, I'll do it, hope that makes them happy.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, it's almost like if you get into a situation you don't want to be in, like it's your own fault. Because you should do what you want to do. Don't just get pushed into stuff. Yeah, I know. I was responding to something that you said. Not his comment, I think. But I don't remember what you said.
Yeah, religion is a topic in itself. It's important that you have the trust and faith in each other and the marriage. Yeah, I have faith in our marriage, but a lot of people who get married have faith in the Lord and this and that, and then the marriage is within that and their partner's within that. It's kind of like a marriage of a family of a lot of things, but with us, I have faith in us. And the marriage for me is very just symbolic of Stephanie and I, but not with all the kind of religious connotations. So again, you have to know, and a lot of religious people will kind of say, well, I shouldn't even be using the term marriage. We shouldn't even call ourselves marriage because we're not doing it the right way, but I don't care.
Yeah, but she's basically saying that they are two separate topics, and that's how I see it. Like, you've got religion, sure, and then you've got marriage, and sometimes they go together and sometimes they don't. So, yeah.
What if you want kids but not marriage?
Yeah, that's completely fine.
That's a tricky one. Yeah, but you have to meet a person that, again, I think the important thing is you need to meet a person, spend enough time, but you trust that they're on the same page with you and you can trust them to have a kid. Because I think it's irresponsible to have a kid, just be boyfriend and girlfriend and just like, yeah, we're going to be together forever and we don't need marriage. You need to make sure you're both on the same page because you've got to stick around for that kid.
Yeah, but you've got people who are in relationships who have children, but who don't necessarily want to get married.
Them to me that have been together for a while and they're not married and they've had kids and they've raised kids is like, that's an example of a couple that really communicate and they know what they want each. And they really don't need the approval or like, oh, we need marriage underneath us because things will fall apart. And it's the same when I proposed to you. I didn't need marriage to speak for me. I wanted it as a symbolic gesture of a union between you and me, not a religious one, a symbolic one between you and me. That's all it was. I knew why I wanted to get married. And similarly with couples that aren't married but have raised kids and they've never been married, that's an example of a couple that really know each other, know themselves well, and they communicate that. Because if they never talked and there's like, oh, let's just have a kid and whatever and not get married, it's like you will always be wondering, I hope this keeps going.
Well, yeah, but you've got good and bad people and good and bad relationships and good and bad parents. But it's like, it's the freedom. Everyone has the freedom to get married or not, and have kids or not, and be religious or not be religious. Like, that's the freedom that we have. So everyone can make their own choices.
Well, what did I say here? I said, let's talk about each of our perspectives before we met. What was your perspective on marriage before we met each other? This was about 4 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, we talked about this in last week's stream.
Did we?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
We can quickly repeat it, but basically my perspective before I knew you was just like marriage is normal and a beautiful thing. But that's because I didn't know anything about the red pill or like dating in America and all that stuff. I learned all of that stuff through you. And then it started to like change my opinion on marriage.
Yeah, I was very...
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Not for me, but for other people. Yeah.
I thought marriage was not something to be recommended. It's very risky, and for me, it's like who cares? It was like, I have nothing against it, doesn't bother me, but it's so not the norm, and for good reason, and I don't even want it, that I don't think about it. And it changed when I met you. Not that you convinced me to get married, but I changed what I wanted out of life, and my life was already going in a different direction. But I was completely neutral. I never hated religion. And it was the same way I think about people who have gay relationships. It's like, fine, whatever, but it's not my life. I was just completely...
Religion? Why did you say religion?
Sorry, marriage.
Ah.
Marriage.
Yeah.
So to me, it was just a lifestyle I had nothing against. Stop badgering me to do it. And also it's disappearing. So like, it's not my life. When I met you, it was different. It was completely about the context of you and I and what I wanted to do. And now I love being married, but to you. It's not that I love being married. I love being married to you. So that's why I can't recommend it. It's like, it's not something you just do to anyone. It's the cart before the horse. You first get the cart and then you get the horse, you know? It's kind of like, why would I even think about marriage before I've met someone and then that person makes me think about marriage? I can't want it. And like you run around trying to find someone to fit your wife hole or your husband hole or something.
Yeah, but that is kind of how it works with people that really want to get married or people that really want kids.
I get it, but that's never been my thing.
Ah, yeah.
So I've always been, when people ask me life questions that are usually, there are very important steps before it. To me, it's like, what? Hang on. No, I haven't even done this yet. Like, I don't even think about your steps later. And I know most people are goal-driven in life. I'm not. I'm very in the moment and tomorrow or the near future, but I'm very much a present person. So to me, when someone says, oh, don't you want kids? What about when you get older? What about your legacy in the future, your name? And it's like, hang on, what about here? What about
Legacy,
here?
that's the dumbest thing ever.
You know what it's always been like to me when people say, shouldn't you want something so far in life that you can't even visualize it? It's so ridiculous. To me, it's like asking Michael Jordan, the basketball player, asking him, what are the best hotel rooms to book when you're a superstar? It's like, you're not even playing basketball yet. Like, you should be thinking about this. Then you start expanding your thinking about this thing. But don't go into fantasy land and start thinking about marriage and kids and all that. Like, it's nice. I know this a lot. Most people want kids, but I've just never been that way. I need to have the person, and then when I can see who the person really is, then I know what to do with them. Then I know how to go further with them.
Yeah, but I think that's more a you thing. So for normal people, I was going to say.
Average.
For average people who want kids and who want to get married, it's normal for them to think about it and fantasize about that. That's normal. But because you never wanted it, you don't do it. So you're just different from them.
Yeah, I guess I push back with the recommended is no one could ever recommend me to make a big life change until I saw something in it that was attractive to me. So I never moved out of home until I was ready to move out of home. And a lot of people were recommending and shaming me, like at the age of 17 or 18. Oh, dude, you still live at home. We're all moving out. It's like, no.
Yeah, but I feel like a recommendation isn't really about you as a person. It's about what you're recommending. That's how I see it. Like, you can make a recommendation about something if it is like a net positive. Then it makes sense to make a recommendation. But if it's like something like marriage where there's a very big failure rate, then I feel like it's not very smart to recommend it. So I don't think it's necessarily, if someone would recommend something to you, I don't think it's necessarily about where you are in life and if you are ready. I don't think it's about you. Because they could be recommending something like taking a trip to a certain country, and it's like a net positive, like it's all good to do that, but you're like, I'm not into it. Like, it's not about where you are, it's about if it's a net positive, what you are recommending.
Yeah, but how do you know it's a net positive? Again, it's based on the context of your life. Like, you could recommend something and you're recommending it to someone you hope and think is like you, but they're probably not.
It's objectively about what you are recommending. For example, if marriage had a 90% success rate,
okay,
and then you recommend it, that's a net positive, what you are recommending.
Yeah, it's an objective, statistical, healthy recommendation. Like,
I feel like it's about that. And then if someone recommends something to you that's like 90% net positive, and you're like, oh, that's not really for me, then it's just not for you, but it's a good recommendation. It's not that that's bad. That's what I mean.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, if you know who you are, it should be thanks for the recommendation. The same as with advice. People have this problem with advice. You shouldn't be giving advice. It's like, it's advice. It's not you must. It's, this is what I think. I think this is a good idea. Up to you.
Yeah, sometimes you shouldn't be giving advice. Not you, but sometimes certain people shouldn't. If you don't know what you're talking about, maybe you shouldn't be giving advice.
Yeah.
It depends on what the topic. And
I think it bugs me that people can't make up their own mind. When I watch YouTube videos, I watch a camera or a phone review, and a person really loves this phone, and they're like, and beforehand they always qualify with, but this is just me, and I don't want to tell you what to do, and it's your life, and if you have a different experience, like, it's like, I know, dude, like, why don't people think for themselves? Like, why can't, I know you are giving me your opinion, and I'll make up my own mind, but apparently people online don't. So if I just go online and saying, this camera's awesome, I would recommend it to everyone, I love it, blah, blah, and then what? Someone online is just going to buy it, and then if they don't like it, they're saying, oh my God, you're an idiot. You said I'd like it. I don't like it. I hate it. You're a bad person. It's like, I was speaking from my point of view.
yeah.
Like, are you so weak and fragile that you have to do everything someone says?
Yeah, no, obviously that's just normal advice. That's like objectively probably good advice. But like, some people shouldn't be giving advice. For example, if you've got someone who's like always messing up with their diet and stuff, And then they're going to recommend, yeah, you should do a water fast for 3 weeks. Like, that's not good advice to give, you know? So you've got obviously advice that's just like kind of normal or advice that's dangerous. Anyway, I also have a little bit of not a headache, but like I feel a little like pressure or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd suggest to them learn who they are and what they stand for, principles and values first. Just because you want to get married doesn't mean you are ready for it. And also, I think the beauty of focusing on your principles and values, if you really start writing them down, thinking about them, having them in discussions, when you meet someone, you are used to having that dialogue, thinking about your values and your principles, that when you meet another person, you can tell you're both on the same page. And then if you both want kids, or you both don't want kids, or you both want marriage, or you don't want marriage, you'll know it's correct or not. But if you have no idea, you're too lazy to think, too lazy to know what you like, what your tastes are, you just go along with the herd, then that's on you. Again, I feel like most discussions are, in the end, it's on you.
Yeah, because it is.
If you don't want to take responsibility, then it's your fault.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people don't even think about what they really want. They just like roll into stuff.
And they're worried about the shame of others, the shame of their parents, the shame of the online community, the shame of what other people think. But I think it's really healthy when a person says, yeah, I know what you're saying, all true, there are risks, but I don't care. I'm doing what I want and I'm fully aware of what I'm doing. And afterwards, I'll take responsibility if it fails. I think that's a person you might not respect them, but I would say that's a healthy individual, someone who knows where they stand. So you can recommend all you want, but I think it's up to the person hearing the recommendations or the advice and saying, yep, I'll take that into consideration, or no, I completely disagree. You need to know where you stand.
Yeah, I feel like I've actually been in a good position where I've never really... I've been very neutral on marriage, like my whole life, and I've never wanted kids. But with marriage, it's never something that I dreamt about when I was a kid or anything. So I was just kind of neutral on it. Like, if I ever meet someone who I want to marry, then I'll marry him. That was kind of my mindset. And I think that's Big Mac fast. I might have a Big Mac later to make me feel better, yeah.
Don't encourage her.
Just a Big Mac.
You're so high maintenance, babe.
Because I want a Big Mac?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that might be controversial, but I think it's actually a good position to be in if you don't necessarily want stuff and you're just kind of neutral. Because now when I met you, like I for the first time felt like I really was open to marrying you. And then I married you. But I'm not just going to marry someone just because it's normal to get married. Like, that's stupid. I'm going to get married when I feel like I've met someone who I actually want to marry. You know, that's a big difference. And I feel like a lot of people just roll into it because it's normal.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like I'm using analogies, but again, there's my examples. I watch a lot of reviews, cameras, lenses, microphones and stuff. And you could tell everyone's biased. Everyone recommends like, oh, this is the best microphone. This is the best camera. This is the best. And they've got music in the background. It really inspires you. But at the end of the day, you're watching all of them. It's like, yeah, I know on paper, 100%. It's a 10 out of 10, but nah, not for me. I need to watch more videos. Convince me. No, not convincing me. Oh, this one for some reason, I really like that one. And so they're both kind of 10 out of 10s. It comes down to your personal preference, knowing what you like, what your tastes are. You really need to listen to what attracts you and why, and have a conversation with that thing. I hope I'm not getting too esoteric about this, but it's like there are recommendations on products and people and what people should do with their lives, but you just need to listen and really see what speaks to you. When someone recommends marriage and you are always resisting it and nothing can convince you, every time they push marriage and recommend stuff to you, marriage, kids, you are always resisting it. They never convince you and nothing makes you want it, then you need to listen to that. And if later on you get convinced, you see something or you hear something and the person's not pushing it on you, it's like, Yeah, like, for the first time, I'm really warming up to marriage or kids or whatever, then listen to that. But I think it's a stupid person that just does what the people in their life tell them to do.
Yeah. I think a neutral perspective is great for many things. Yeah, I agree.
Well, it's the only way you can objectively decide, with less, like, balancing your emotions and your logical side, what makes sense to you.
Yeah, but I also think that's good for, I feel like a lot of men would benefit from being more neutral. Also about women.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like me, like I've always been good on my own and I've had really good relationships throughout my whole life. And that's because I've only ever entered into relationships if I feel like it's going to add something to my life. I've said this before. And if it's not good anymore, then we end it, So, and that's just because I'm good on my own. So I'm not going to stay in something where I don't feel good. And I feel like it's good if you don't need something per se, but when you meet the right person, then you want it. I think that's good.
I think it's a sign of a well-adjusted, healthy, intelligent adult to know where you stand, where you begin, and when objective reality is as well, and where you two meet and where the line is. So I'm certain about a lot of things, but I might not be right with everything. And that's why I can't recommend it for everyone. Like, I know where I'm certain, but I don't know where other people, how they think. So I'm 100% certain in how I feel about you, our marriage and stuff. But objectively, like, there's something outside of me as well. Like, I can't recommend it for the world.
Yeah, look, maybe in very rare cases you could recommend it, but only, for example, if like to a sister or a brother, and you know them very well, and you know the partner very well, and you know that they want to have kids or something. Like in that situation, you might be like, yeah, I think that you know them very well, and then you might maybe recommend marriage or something. But just in most cases, it's a dangerous thing to recommend, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, Bobby Barrow says, lots of people online insist they are right. I think a lot of people are trying to get confidence in groups, and everyone's trolling and very black and white in their thinking. And the moment you start saying, well, let's be balanced about this, let's look at the other side, everyone piles on you and attacks you. And it's very hard now as an individual, especially with online, to have a strong sense of what you feel, and you don't care what your group of buddies online think. You're prepared to tell them to fuck off because no, don't push me. Like, I know what I want. Stop shaming me. Yeah. So yeah, online, everyone thinks they're right. Everyone's got the answers, and they add LOL at the end. Oh my God, relationships don't exist anymore. LOL. People just hook up. It's like, okay, genius, go keep doing it.
I've never stayed in a bad relationship. Most girls I meet are messed up in the head. That's not good for a society. Yeah, don't stay in a bad relationship. That's on you if you stay in a bad relationship. Like,
I think if too many people are looking for society to hold them up and protect them, you need to protect yourself and think for yourself, then society gets better. But you can't be a 0 and expect society to be a 10 to take care of you. You can't be a guy who shuts his mouth and expect every woman to be nice and treat you well. You have to be someone you're proud of, and then more people like that will make a world that we're all proud of, and people get along and people date properly and they communicate. But you can't be a 5-year-old and you expect the government or girlfriends, people, them to be perfect, but you can remain a 0. You have to think for yourself. You have to know where you stand with marriage, with when people cross the line, when people shame you. Yeah. What are any more thoughts that people might have about the recommendation? I don't know. I just feel, I take it as a given that when there's a recommendation or a suggestion or advice, it's not someone saying, no, you must do it or you go to jail. You have to, you now have to make a decision, and you're going to be responsible for the decision. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, it's not saying that you have to do so, but I feel like if you make a recommendation, then there's like a responsibility that comes with it, I feel like. Like if you're going to make a recommendation, it needs to be like a net positive. You can't make a recommendation and then it being something super high risk. Like that's just like unprofessional. That's not good.
Well, going back to the kids thing, right? Say you're someone who really wants kids. That's the thing they want most in their lives. So marriage would be more recommended for you. Because if you want kids, marriage is a good environment to have kids in. And so you probably recommend marriage more for that person.
Sure. Yeah.
But so again, context. But if you don't want kids, there's less of a recommendation to get married then.
I don't know. I would have to know what the difference is between, because if you just have kids, yeah, I don't know. Because now if I think about normal people, like the way I was growing up, then there's nothing wrong with marriage. But now that I know everything about America and stuff, I have to be careful with everything I think about.
Yeah, but say for instance, if I moved to Holland instead of you came here, if I went to Holland, you wouldn't see as much of it.
No, probably not, no.
So we probably wouldn't even be having these more lively discussions about relationships and marriage, because it's in Holland and in Europe, there's a lot more of that old tradition still there about marriage and relationships and kids and stuff. Whereas in the West, everything's like up for grabs. Everyone decides what gender they're going to be, if they're going to be married. Like everyone just designs the life they want.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about whether if you want kids, if you should recommend marriage more, right? But then immediately my mind went to, okay, so if you get married and you get divorced, I know the problems that come with that. What about if you just have kids but you're not married? Is that going to be less of a problem when you want to split up? Mm-hmm. Probably, right? So then I'm thinking maybe then you shouldn't recommend marriage but just have kids, because then if you split up, you won't have all those problems that come with divorce.
Yeah.
See, so that's where my brain goes now that I know everything about America.
Yeah.
But
you wouldn't even go there unless you had an idea that the person wanted to get married or wanted to have kids. So you have to listen to find out if the person actually wants that thing. They want to step through the door of marriage or kids first before you start talking about all the other stuff. And a lot of people just recommend whether or not the person wants to get, they shame you, like you single. They don't even ask if you're happy. It's like, oh, you'll find someone. When are you getting married? When are you having kids? It's like, you don't even ask, like, you can't recommend it for me. And like, you haven't even asked me whether I want it, whether I want to step through that door.
No, but let's say you've got two people who want to have kids together.
Okay.
Right? And then the guy goes to a friend and he's saying, I want to have kids with this woman, but I don't know if I should marry her as well. Should that friend then recommend marriage or not?
No.
Because, that's what I mean. Because if they just have kids and they end up splitting up, then they don't have to deal with all the divorce stuff.
Yeah, it can't just be the goal of marriage that you want. It's the goal in context with what you need to get a good goal. Like you need a good person, a good wife, a good mother to have the good kids that you want.
Yeah, but let's say they're good people. Like he feels like he's in a good, solid relationship. They both want to have kids.
Yeah.
But he knows about the red pill and stuff. Should his friend recommend for them to get married because they want kids or not,
Well, if he knows about the red pill and stuff, he probably wouldn't recommend marriage.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So even if you want kids, should you recommend marriage or not? Because you're still going to have to deal with divorce if you end up splitting up.
Where is the advice coming from? Is the recommendation for or against kids coming from someone who's more red-pilled or someone who's more religious or someone who's like... You have to listen to where the advice, the recommendation is coming from as well.
It's so difficult.
That's why you have to think for yourself. You have to kind of know where you lean, any questions you have, because I've mentioned this before on my other channel. I get guys saying, I've lived with this girl, we're engaged, she wants to get married, should I get married to this girl? And it's like, you can't ask me. I can't recommend whether you should. if you're asking me, I wouldn't recommend, but I would say like, if I had to place my chips on yes or no, I'd say no, because if you're asking me, you're not sure. You need to be sure about what you want to do.
Yeah, but I can even imagine like a guy in that same scenario, but previously he's had like really bad relationships or something, or maybe he's been divorced before, and he's sure about this girl and he wants kids with her, but he's just scared about getting married. Like I can understand why he wouldn't want to do that.
This comment by Karu is true as well. One of the problems is that marriage has become a commodity. It's easy to get both into and out of. It's harder to buy a house than to get married.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
Wow, yeah.
back in our grandparents' generation, marriage was big and a positive, and it was recommended, and it wasn't as risky. And there wasn't all this social stigma and fear about it. You know, if you pick the right marriage, it's better to avoid it unless you're 100% sure, because your life will be ruined. That's the vision that people have of marriage today. Whereas before, it's like, it's just natural. It's like growing up.
Yeah.
It's like at this point, you're not married. Why? What's stopping you? What's the risk? There's no risk. Why aren't you married? Why are you stopping yourself from being happy? I don't get it. That was the vision. But now it's like, oh yeah, I understand why you're not married. When I started the job I'm at, I remember years ago, and my boss just chit-chatting, I remember him talking and saying, "Oh, you married?" I said, "No," and he smiled. He goes, "Yeah, you're smart." And it's like, it's very common now for people to belittle and make fun of and go, "Woohoo, yeah, marriage is risky today. You're smart to avoid it."
You know, we've talked about this before, but I think there should be a country where if you get married there, divorce is going to be 50-50 always. And you know that rule where if you get divorced, the richer spouse has to pay the other one to continue the lifestyle? That's
Yeah.
like the most bullshit rule ever.
Yeah.
Like if you divorce, that should be it. Just split 50-50 and go your separate ways. Not even 50-50, by the way.
No.
Because what about millionaires and stuff?
Yeah, you should just... Yeah, that's an American law. It's so irrational, where you get a girl who was living at home with her mother and hadn't had a job, she's got nothing, and she marries a basketball player in the NBA who's, you know, got $50 million. And then as soon as they're married, she's entitled to $25 million. She just made $25 million.
You should just keep your separate bank accounts.
They should just look at, all right, what did you put in? What did they put in? We look at your financial statement, what each of you own, what each of you contributed financially, and that's what you both get financially when you leave. You don't get, I've got feelings, and this is what I'm feeling and what I like. Give it to me in a financial amount. It's like, no. Financially, this is as much as you both put in, and it's financially you're going to equally, fairly separate that. So if the man puts in 99% and you put in 1 or 0, he's basically financially bankrolling 100% of the relationship. Then you get nothing.
Yeah, but that's that kind of bullshit. That's like infuriating, and I can totally understand that that's what would really put off men from getting married. Also with child support and all of that. Those numbers are just bullshit. Like I can totally understand being a man that would really scare you off. Or even just put you off just because it's so ridiculous.
I'm used to this, therefore I want to continue to be used to it for the rest of my life. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If I drop my camera, it's like, no, I'm used to it. Give me another one for free.
Yeah.
Anyway, any final questions? We've been blabbing for nearly an hour, babe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see? 59 minutes. Can you see with your eyes?
Yeah.
59 minutes. Let's read some of these comments. Let's go back to these. I asked the question, just the open Q&A. If we could go back in time.
If you could make a time capsule that would be open in 100 years, what would you put in it, as well as a message you would leave in it? It's really funny because when we went for a walk, we talked about this, and my first reaction was like, I don't know, like, I don't care. Why would I want to leave anything for people I don't know? But he was like, think about it, Steph. Like, don't just dismiss the question. So yeah, I don't know. I think what I might say is just something cheesy, like, you know what old people say on their deathbeds? Like, don't care so much about what people think. Enjoy your life to the fullest. Do what you really want to do. Don't let people pressure you. All of that cliche stuff. That's maybe what I would say. I don't know.
As a guy, I would probably put maybe one of the books I've written. Like,
Don't get married. No.
yeah. But see, that's something I wanted to say before, but you were talking, so I wanted to remember it, but I forgot it because it was in... Oh, shit, I forgot it. Fuck. See, I go to qualify it and I completely lose the train of thought. Fuck.
You really forgot it?
Yeah, I swear. It came back. I was like, yeah, that was a really good point. Let me say it again. Anyway, it'll come back. Watch the way I deal with it, babe, when I can't remember what I was going to say. See how calm I am?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You are calmer than me.
I would probably leave one of my books or the thing I'm proud of, like just as a... I think people leave their kids, like, you know, they have kids and they leave a legacy. My legacy would be a book I wrote or something I did.
No, something you have to put in the time capsule.
Yeah, I put one of my books.
Put your kid in there. Do people put their kids in there?
You're
Put a
being
book in
literal.
there.
I'm saying, what would I leave behind? She also asks, what was the last big belly laugh you both shared?
We just had one just now. But, yeah, it's really hard to remember those moments.
We laugh all the time, though.
Yeah. But there's one we talked about earlier. I can't really explain fully. But sometimes he does, like, certain nationalities. He talks like them or laughs like them. Like, that's really funny. That cracks me up.
Yeah, I'm a bit condescending. I put on their accent. I
Yeah.
exaggerate.
That's funny.
Without going into which nationalities they are. She just laughs her head off.
And then sometimes when you swear, it's really funny.
Well, it's when she's annoyed or can't be bothered, her voice drops like 5 octaves.
Yeah.
She'll be talking like this, like, la, la, la. And when she doesn't care about something, she'll be like, oh, that was just stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really true. And when I'm excited, my voice goes really high when I'm excited. And then when I don't care, I'm like, my
Yeah,
voice
you
drops.
talk like a news reporter. Today there was a...
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think we're kind of done. Any final topic? Actually, I don't think there's anything else here. Did we read Boffins? Oh,
yeah.
no.
Oh, no?
No, we didn't read
Oh, no.
Boffins. No. Boffin, I posted, why don't we recommend marriage even though we're married? Boffin said, a bride and groom get married because they sincerely believe it's a good idea. Yes. Constipated insomniac believed it was a good idea to take an extra sleeping pill and a double dose of laxatives before bed. Oftentimes, good ideas need more thought. Yeah. There are a couple of extra comments from last week's talk we had about marriage. Just generally. Yes, no, do you believe in marriage? And we read most of them. Yeah. Again.
No. Wasn't this under the stream?
What's it? Did we actually? No, we actually answered all of these because there's a...
Yeah, I liked them all. I
Yeah.
hearted them all.
I usually only heart the ones I've talked about or am talking about during the stream, and then if there's any new ones, there's no heart. That's why I know the new comments. But anyway. Actually, I can do newest first. We read heaps.
Oh, yeah, we did.
We did read them all. All right. So, I think we're about done, babe. Have you calmed down from before? Are you chill?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I do have to say something. I want to retract something that I said last week on the stream. For those that remember.
I can't remember. What was it?
When I said female sports are bullshit, you have to understand that sometimes when I'm talking about stuff that I find dumb or stupid, I kind of get on a roll. And then I can exaggerate a little bit. So that's what happened last week. Obviously, it's not bullshit. But what I mean is just that it's not for me, I guess. And I always find it kind of weird when I see women, especially playing like soccer or basketball, because I feel like that's really like male sports, you know? So that's just what I meant. I don't mean like it's actually bullshit. Because obviously when you think about like athletic stuff, like high jumping and that kind of stuff.
Gymnastics.
Yeah, like that's really cool. That's like women do that. That's cool. So I just wanted to clarify, okay? Sometimes I get a bit, I can exaggerate a bit. So yeah. You know that I can exaggerate sometimes. Then I'll be like, oh, everything sucks, or all of this sucks. And then you'll be like, Steph. And then I'm like, yeah, I know.
Well, see, that's a good example of parts of her character that I appreciate. She feels something when she thinks she's done something wrong or been rude or she feels bad about herself. She actually feels guilt and she has to apologize or address it. She can't pretend her wrong is a right and it's other people's problem, or even if she was rude, who cares? People can just deal with it. You need to say sorry or acknowledge that you were incorrect or you were coming across a certain way.
I don't know if Boffin is serious or if he's kidding.
He's being he's kidding. I was about to say something similar. I was about to say women's. I love women's sports, especially the ones where they're hot.
You know what's really weird though? I think that's also with beach volleyball. Have you ever seen how they dress the women?
with the thongs.
Like, what the fuck is up with that?
Yeah, but and they always bend over, and the camera's always, she's making a signal behind her back as we're looking at her G-string butt.
Like, that's really, like, there's something really off about that. Why can't they just wear, like, shorts or something?
Because you wouldn't watch it. Exactly. It's the same with, what's that the lingerie football in America? Have you seen those? The women who play lingerie football.
Oh, God.
They've basically got the pads of, the American gridiron players, with the helmets and stuff. They've got the helmets, they've got the big pads, and then just lingerie. And they're running around.
Then you just don't have any self-respect.
It's a great sport though, babe.
But look, okay. I find like gymnastics and stuff, like that's really awesome because that's more feminine, that's more like ballet kind of stuff, But like whenever I see like especially women's soccer, it just looks wrong to me. Like I want to see men and men playing basketball and stuff. If I see women on the field, I'm just like, this looks weird to me.
This is one thing I hate about this politically correct environment. It's like, well, why isn't that great? Because it's not. Look, I've said to Stephanie, if there was a third gender, which there isn't, if there was a third one, right, that was better than men, better than all of us, that's what we'd be watching. We would be watching basketball of that gender. Even as a man, I'd be saying, well, that's the best. Yeah, our sport and your sport is bullshit compared to that. That is, like if an alien species came and they were like 10 times faster, stronger, hand-eye coordination, we would be watching amazing basketball, amazing football. And that's all we watch. Why would we watch low grade, like women's soccer in Australia? For the Olympics, they trained with 17-year-old high school boys. And the high school boys beat them 9-0 or 9-1. That's what the women's Olympics team trains against, high school boys. So don't tell me all this. Yeah, treat people fairly, but life is not fair. Sorry. This, Shaq is big. He's going to play center in the NBA. You're 5'0". You can't whine about it. You're born with different attributes. Make the best with what you've got instead of what you hope life would be.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hey, we have to do the 5 rapid questions.
Do we?
We forgot last week. We're going to do 5...
Don't give away. All right.
No.
Okay.
I'm always like over-explaining, aren't I?
I do that. I do that more than you. I waffle on and give examples and things of things people don't even need to know about.
I take away the mystery.
Yes.
And I say what it is too much.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm direct, I think.
Yeah. All right. All right, let's just go. You can start.
Who is the messy one?
Between the two of us, who's the messiest one?
I think I'm a little bit more messy than you.
Yeah. I'm a bit more of a neat freak than you are.
Yeah.
You, in your head, you're a neat...
In my head, I am very organized.
Yep.
Yeah.
But outside of your head, like you couldn't care less. Whereas in my head, I'm organized. I'm kind of what I am in my head and what I am outside of my head. I'm pretty much the same.
Yeah.
I'm kind of organized, but it doesn't need to be perfect.
But I don't feel like I'm messy. I just feel like I'm not as neat as you.
Yes, you're not a messy person. You just care less about if a few things are left, whatever. But in your head, everything has to be perfect.
Yeah.
And has to be completely neat.
Yeah.
In your head.
Yeah.
You can't stand even a spot in your thinking.
As you guys saw before.
Yes.
Yeah. Morning. Oh, sorry. Morning person or a night owl? This is easy. I am definitely a morning person and he's a night owl. Like, I get up early usually and you sleep in longer. And then I always go to bed first and he comes to bed like a few hours later. Yeah. So that's a very clear difference between us.
I'm usually going to bed on average about 1 in the morning. And you go to bed about 9:30, 10.
Yeah, very early. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Get in line, like there's a lot. We've got a lot of pet peeves.
Well, I think one of mine is...
Or is it pet peeve that I have with you? Or is it pet peeve in general? Like what annoys me?
I thought about it like in terms of us.
Okay.
But...
Yeah, I wanted to make...
In terms of us is, I think, I don't like when... I've made dinner and we're about to eat, and then you have to do something or go to the bathroom or something, and I have to wait. Like we've talked about this before. Like when it's time to eat, like I want to eat, and like so that's a little bit.
Yeah, it's like you just made dinner or you made a coffee and everything's ready, about to sit down, and I'm like, oh babe, I'm just gonna go to the toilet. I'll be back.
Yeah. And
I take my phone and I come back 10 minutes later.
And I think another one that I still struggle with sometimes is the supermarket. Yeah. In the beginning, I used to struggle with that more, but it's because I'm used to when I was living alone. When I go to the supermarket, I'm in and out very quickly. I just get what I need and I go because I always want to go home. I don't like being outside. And with you, it's different. He goes to the supermarket, just like he's browsing, and he's always looking for stuff, and he's walking around more slowly. So I really had to get used to that, and sometimes I'm still like, I have to, be patient, Steph. And yeah, so that's a little bit.
Yeah, I'm always stopping and noticing things like, ooh,
yeah.
Ooh.
But I have relaxed a bit with that.
It's kind of mood dependent. If you're kind of just wanting to go home and you've had a long day and you really just want to sit at home, you don't want to be out, then you're impatient.
I feel like, after work, that happens more often after work, where... Because I've already been at work all day, I just want to get home. And then when we go to the supermarket to get a few things, and then when you linger too long, I might be like, oh, I just want to go home. Can we go,
Yeah, and then people around you annoy you more.
Yeah.
And okay.
What's your pet peeve?
With you?
Let me get out my list. Have you got many with me, eh?
No. I would just say, I think it's sort of like when you can't let something go, your mood, and you yourself know that you wish you could get rid of it. I just find it very easy. I can control my emotions very quickly because I hate being confused and I hate being in that mood. So I automatically do something to get myself out of it, but you just stay in your head. And I wish you could kind of get out of it because it's pointless.
Right.
So just generally about that, and sometimes your social thing. That kind of is a bit annoying because it's out of nowhere and it can ruin the moment or the whole day, and then you feel like you have to apologize later, and then it's all
That feels both. That's like both ways for me though, because I also find that annoying.
Right.
Yeah, so you find it annoying that I don't want to be social. I find it annoying that you want to be social. So that's a two-way thing. Yeah. About the first thing that you said.
Being stuck in your head.
Yeah. Do you think that I've gotten better at that? Because I feel like I'm trying to get better at that.
Yeah. You've improved immensely. But if I was to point to anything else, there's virtually nothing. But it's just when I think it's when you get stuck in your head.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the thing that's a pet peeve of mine.
But that's also like, as much as that's a pet peeve of yours, that's also something I find very annoying about myself.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Especially when I'm trying to get out of it, but I can't, or I'm having trouble with it. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's nothing about how you treat me or anything like that.
Boffin. Yeah, that's a good one. As much as Steph enjoys food, I'm surprised he doesn't want to meander for hours in the grocery store.
Yeah.
I like being in the grocery store only when I'm very relaxed or when I'm having like a cheat day or something, because then I want to like buy all the food. But yeah, that's basically just because I don't often like being outside. I always want to go home, and people annoy me often. So yeah, but it's also because, I don't know, I'm very used to just getting what I need quickly and then going home again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But it's also because I don't enjoy being there for a long time because I can't eat everything I want to eat. You know, so then there's no reason for me to be there if I can't eat the food today, kind of. No, that's completely... I do cook, but I cook very simple meals. So I'm not a big fan of cooking. Like, I always make the same meals for us. And lately, you've been cooking with me a lot, actually.
Yeah, but I told you it's because I like my food a particular way, and I don't want to stand over you telling you do this, do that, a bit of salt, bit of this.
Yeah, but you've only started doing that like for the past few weeks. But before that, I always used to make your food.
It's only because like I've been doing very high protein, like keto food, so a lot of steaks, a lot of red meat, and I like that kind of barbecue. Maybe it's a guy thing. I want my red meat salted and cooked, and I like barbecuing it and cooking it my own way. But everything else, you cook and prepare.
Right.
So it's really meat. That's the thing, if you've noticed. That's where I'm cooking.
Yeah, so lately we've been cooking together because we always eat different things. Like, only sometimes when we both have pizza, we'll both have pizza, but 90% of the time we have different meals for dinner. But I actually really like it that you cook with me.
You like it that I'm in the kitchen with you.
Yeah, because, I don't know, when I'm cooking alone, it doesn't feel nice for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I noticed that even when you're cooking, if I'm just sitting at the kitchen bench talking to you, you like it.
I think when you cook with me, I like it because I feel like I have company, but also you take some of the pressure off of me. Because if I'm making 2 different meals, I have to multitask. And you've noticed that sometimes it stresses me out a little. So I think when you focus more on your meal and I do my meal, I'm much more relaxed. So that's also why I like it. Yeah. And it's nice because we can like have a conversation, joke around and stuff.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Where was your first date?
Well, what was we didn't really have a first date.
Well,
because we met in the hotel. I don't know.
Well, I kind of, the first thing that came to my mind was it Bitterbollen, the little bakery on the corner in Eindhoven. Remember, outside where we got the pastries? The little bakery.
Near the hotel?
Yeah, in the town square.
Okay. I don't remember that
again,
exactly.
In terms of date, food, that was probably our first. Getting bakery goods for breakfast.
I can't remember, because we never really had like a first official date or anything. Because we met and then we went back to the hotel. And then, like, we went out for food here and there.
We ordered food in.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean an official date where we dress up and...
Yeah, we haven't had, like, an official first date, really.
Yes, we... Okay. Everything was shut the first time I went to Holland to see you. It was during the bug. The second time, I would say, it was probably that little restaurant in the bungalow park, remember, over the lake? We had lunch. It was like at a table and everything. Remember?
Yeah, but we haven't had like an actual, like an official date in the way that people would go on a first date. But that's because...
We've had a few here.
Yeah, but that's later.
But yeah, we didn't have a first... Yeah, I think with first dates, they're like get to know you dates over dinner. We got to know each other.
Yeah, because of the way we got to know each other, we've never really had like an official first date in the way that's normal, I guess.
Okay, last rapid fire question.
Describe each other in one word. Ooh, only one word?
Yes.
Calm.
Direct. Yeah.
Mine was going to be either calm, stable, or kind.
Yeah. Yours is
Yeah.
direct. You are what you see and what you get.
That's a compliment. Ooh, let's see some more.
You want to do some more?
I've eaten some of my most enjoyable and affordable meals walking around in the grocery store. While you're walking around,
Yeah, I can't stand those parents that let their kids eat stuff during the store.
are you eating in the store, Boffin?
Yeah. Apparently.
So you're telling me that Bob isn't a manosphere dude since he cooks?
Yep.
I thought that was the woman's job. You're not a real...
Yeah, I know.
Jesus.
I know. Everything is true. I betrayed the manosphere. I like cooking my own steaks.
Yeah, but that's like out of your own... you just started joining me since the last few weeks.
Oh, and I do cook my own pasta. I make really good pasta sauce and pasta.
Yeah.
Even before I met you, I remember my sister and my mother said I probably made the best pasta in the entire family, even better than the women. Although my mum and my sister do make good pasta. I wouldn't agree with it, but maybe it's as a guy, I make really good pasta.
What is something I make really well?
Pizza.
Pizza in the oven. Frozen pizza. I just put on extra cheese, extra pepperoni.
No, there's a particular pizza base that I really like, and the toppings you put on, the amount and the particular toppings, salami and cheese and stuff. That's like a 10 out of 10.
But that doesn't really count because that's a frozen pizza.
Right.
I just put it in the oven. But I know something I make well that you like that I make.
What?
When I make warm oatmeal. You've said that I do that well.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so that may be one thing.
I think I don't crave it a lot, oatmeal. And so when I do, it's like, it's really good oatmeal, but it's not a food that I really like, that I put as my top 10.
No.
So, but you do make good oatmeal. Yep.
So that's the only thing I make well, guys. No kidding.
Yeah, but that's an example of like, there's a lot of stuff that people recommend out there. No, your woman must be a good cook. She must do this in bed. She must look like this. She must wear these clothes. She must be this kind of person socially or in the home. All these things. And it's like, well, what about what I really care about? Like,
yeah.
I care about how you treat me and the time I spend with you, if I can talk to you, how I trust you, all those things. Yeah, like it'd be nice if you were a great cook, but what? I'm going to like, no, sorry. Well, I'm not going to be with you because you can't cook a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like people are trying to objectively find a partner that everyone else says, yeah, you should marry them because of A, B, and C, not about their character or how compatible they are with you. Yeah, they're a perfect match to you in personality and character, but you know what? You need to find a woman that's a 10 out of 10 in cooking, not a 6. You know, like don't marry her.
Then if that's something you say, then you should just get a cook.
Yeah.
If that's like what the only reason.
Or learn to cook yourself.
Yeah.
All right. I think we are done. Thanks for everyone showing up for the stream. Hope you enjoyed it. You're out of focus, babe. Lean in. There you go.
Ooh, now I'm bigger.
Yeah, your head's bigger now. Which head is bigger? Who's got the bigger head?
Well, you do,
Yeah,
but
see? But here, go forward a bit. Look at your noggin.
noggin.
Noggin. It's an Australian thing.
Yeah.
How do you say head in Dutch?
Hoofd.
Hoofd. Your language has a lot of oofd, 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 oofd. A lot of vowels.
Guys, you know I'm a teacher, right? Next year, I'm going to be working 3 days instead of 4. Monday to Wednesday, just like Bobby. And I'm going to be teaching Dutch. So that's awesome. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm going to only be teaching Dutch.
Yeah, we're going to have the exact same schedule every week now. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can, our own schedules will work more in a fluid way. Because right now, Thursday's the day that I've got off. You still work.
Yeah.
All right. All right, we're going to go in, enjoy the rest of the day. We're not going to jump on live stream, but if enough people below this stream give your recommendation, would you want a post-stream Discord chat after this, or you don't really care? Because we don't want to put in all the effort to show up and produce a Discord chat if no one's going to come. So let us know anyway. But yeah, we'll see you next week, and I will see you on my stream on the Human channel on Sunday morning in a couple of days. All right.
We might get me a Big Mac.
Thanks, Karu. Now I have to go get a Big Mac.
No, we were going to the mall maybe.
You're such high maintenance, babe. Big Mac.
I just want food.
What else do you want?
I thought Steph was a therapist. No. Oh, God, no. Oh, I don't care enough about people. All their problems.
I've dated someone in that industry. No, thank you.
No,
I'm
a
sure there
teacher.
are a lot. Although I could have, at a certain point in time, when I was really interested in like human social dynamics, while I was like talking about relationships, women, people, interactions and stuff, I was really reading up a lot about psychology and all of that. But you have to really you got to think of the practical aspect. I'm going to sit there and listen to the worst people go on, and I'm thinking, oh my God, it's easy. Just,
Yeah, well, I find psychology very interesting, especially all those disorders and stuff. That's really interesting. But I'm not interested in people. So that would just annoy the crap out of me. So I would want to, if I were a psychologist, I would want to be like a lecturer or something, but I wouldn't want to be, or like a teacher in psychology, but I wouldn't want to be like sitting with people.
You're interested in the information and presenting and understanding and reading and stuff, but you're not interested in like fixing people who are complaining and...
No. Yeah, and I guess that's why I became a teacher, because I love presenting and teaching information, yeah.
All right, we're getting out of here. Have a good week, everyone. We'll see you next week, and I'll see you on my stream in a couple of days. So,
all right. Bye, guys.
Bye.